The following program is sponsored by Happy Science.
Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Ryuho Okawa is known as a global visionary because of his deep spiritual insight and commitment to guide the world to a brighter future. To accomplish this, he founded Happy Science Group in 1986, which is now a global movement in over 100 countries. His vision and message to the world goes beyond the differences of race and language, empowering people with love. Together, in this 8-series program, we will explore practical ways on how you can be happy and how you can take part in creating happiness as a society. We often talk about searching for happiness. We expect to find it in the partner we're destined to be with, that fulfilling career, or the lifestyle we dream of. Ironically, these are the very things, our environment, our work, and the closest people around us that seem to determine our unhappiness too. Because these things are outside of our control, sometimes we can feel powerless over the emotional turmoil they bring. But what if happiness is something that begins with you, every time and in every case? But first, let's go to the streets of New York and ask the question, who makes you happy and who makes you unhappy?
Myself, I mean, you can't rely on anyone else for happiness. People that try and take away from that.
She does.
He does. Sometimes he does.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, not many people make me unhappy.
My grandson's 2 years old. It's just funny seeing life through those small, young eyes again. Just little Mr. Personality. So that would be, let's just say in general, the boss.
I think I make myself happy most of the time. My son makes me happy when he's happy. And my husband, when he's happy, it makes me pretty happy too. Again, probably the same people. But I think that most happiness or unhappiness resides within yourself. You know, if you let people influence you, you can be unhappy. But I try to look past that and look into myself.
How about you? Who makes you happy and who makes you unhappy? Let's listen to a lecture from Okawa that presents the concept that happiness begins from no one else but you.
The purpose of religion is to help us grow as human beings. It is important for religion to encourage the growth of human beings. The goal of religion is to help you grow. Through that growth, we can overcome and solve the problems, strife, frustration, and suffering that may appear insurmountable. You could solve these issues by finding answers to the problems. Yet, another solution is to grow as a person, so your problems seem comparatively smaller. No one in this world is completely free of suffering. Everyone has at least one problem in his or her life. However, although everybody has problems, each person will deal with their problems differently. In short, all people are troubled by relatively small problems. They are troubled by problems that seem almost insignificant compared to other bigger problems in society. But as long as they cannot think beyond themselves, they cannot escape these problems. They cannot escape from their problems because they cannot transcend their framework as an individual. People view themselves as a tiny existence, a separate entity from the world and other people. We must overcome this perspective and learn to think beyond our individual self. But how could we accomplish that? First of all, why can't we think beyond our individual self? Why do we only see ourselves as separate individuals? It is because we often set limits to ourselves. This limitation comes from an egocentric, self-centered mentality. If I say negatively, it could be called self-preservation. This tendency can also be seen in animals. Some people even think everyone is out to hurt them. Even if somebody compliments you, you may think he or she has ulterior motives. You become unable to trust anyone, not even your own family, spouse, or child. Many people are trapped in this kind of thinking. They suppress themselves, and in doing that, cannot release their true, innate power. So, it is important to realize that self-centeredness magnifies the problem and stops you from taking action. You are actually thinking too much about yourself. Today, I would like to talk about 3 principles that are necessary for the proper cultivation of the mind. The first is to spend less time thinking about yourself and your feelings. Will this hurt me? Will this be good or bad for me? What about me? Who is the subject of those sentences? It's always about you. Try changing the subject of your sentences to someone other than yourself. It is difficult for people to become truly happy when their thoughts are self-centered. If all you think about is your pain or unhappiness, then you will never be happy. People who are really happy spend less time thinking about themselves. Once you understand this, you will find yourself not thinking about yourself at all. So firstly, if you have a tendency to think egocentrically, please change yourself to think about others more. The second point is to make efforts to recognize a diversity of value systems. People tend to believe in values that are convenient to them. This is related to the first principle. Most people have a one-track mind. However, there are different kinds of people and many ways of thinking and living, just as there are various kinds of butterflies. Yet most people only have their own thought pattern and deny others based on it. Take a mother who is always worried about the time. She lives by a tight schedule, and if her children are not punctual, she gets angry at them. No matter how well behaved her children are in other things, if they are not punctual, she gets angry and keeps blaming them. It does not matter if they get good grades, always keep their rooms tidy, or have many friends. She will not forgive her children if they are not on time. So if punctuality is the most important thing to the mother, she won't be able to forgive tardiness. It is easy for us to take a single perspective and apply it to everything around us. But we often don't even realize that and believe that it is the only way to live. So we tend to judge other people with our own perspective. But I want you to take a minute to consider that the world is made up of different people. In fact, part of our growth as human beings is to recognize the many different perspectives in the world and accept the various strengths of other people. Most of our personal conflicts happen because of this. Many people cannot accept various perspectives or different value systems. They hold a strong desire to believe their own perspective only. We must know that there could be a valuable way of life, even if it does not match your way or taste. Your strengths that you were proud of or that encouraged you before could turn into the reason you scorn others who do not have them. You must be careful so you do not judge others in this way. In fact, your strengths that brought you happiness can end up creating unhappiness. That is why it is important to accept multiple perspectives. It is a way to make us grow as human beings, in a way to make us more mature. This could be the major reason for many family feuds. For example, a well-educated father may blame an uneducated mother for their child's incapability. In case both parents are highly educated, their children do not have any excuses. So if they don't perform well academically, they are considered lazy. Children have many good characteristics that the parents do not have. So if you try to nurture the strengths of your child will change his attitude toward you. It is nothing but a burden for children to be simply compared with their parents' achievements. However, parents tend to look back on their childhood with rose-tinted glasses. They only remember their successes and forget about their failures. Many parents judge their children based on their glorified childhood memories, resulting in an unhappy family. Your attitude towards your spouse may be wrong as well. You may think you are objectively judging your spouse, but in fact, you could be just comparing your spouse to an old boyfriend or girlfriend. It is quite annoying to your spouse who wouldn't know about this. So, please try to have a more open mind and see things without bias.
The idea of paying attention to our own thoughts might sound difficult, but is actually a very important exercise. It can be surprising how much time we spend thinking about ourselves and judging others based on our own ways of thinking. Let's go back to the lecture to learn more about how we can be more accepting of others.
The third principle I want to mention is connected to the other two. It is the same and connected, but it is a very important point. If you want to live a happy life, please consider and practice forgiveness. Forgiving is a difficult task and is a religious state of mind. You must make efforts to have this mindset, because it will never come naturally to you. Knowing this fundamental truth of religion, you're able to understand why people do things. You'll realize that forgiveness has real power in our world. You need to know this. The many problems that arise between people and the cause of your unhappiness mostly come from your hatred for someone, perhaps a prolonged feeling of hatred or anger. Most people blame others as the cause of their unhappiness. That may be partly true, but the other party will probably say the same thing of you. For instance, imagine that your son is tragically struck and killed by a truck. Of course, it is tragic. You might want the driver to go to jail for the rest of his life. You may even want him to receive a death sentence. As a parent, you would be overwhelmed with resentment. I know it's quite normal to feel that way. But that resentment will never bring you any sort of happiness. You are wishing ill of the truck driver and maybe even wishing him to die, just as your son had. As regrettable as it was to lose your son, you are now allowing the darkness to consume you. However, if you think about it, the truck driver might be a young man himself. He may have been working under strenuous conditions, so accidents like these can occur. It may not be entirely his fault. He may have a family as well. Perhaps he had lived in unfortunate circumstances. But these thoughts do not even cross your mind. Your heart rages with unending anger. That is why you must learn to forgive. Nothing goes exactly the way you want it to in this world. You must be prepared to forgive. You need to know when to forgive, when to stop arguing and blaming, and realize that doing so won't make you happy. Others are suffering too. You need to forgive others at some point in your life. The same applies to issues between men and women. Perhaps a woman resents men, is afraid of them, or does not trust them. Even if she does meet a man who is different from the other men she has known, she may see him in the way and dismiss him. She may see him in the same way and dismiss him. That will make it difficult for her to find new love. The same goes for men. A man might be afraid of women due to repeated rejections. Whenever he sees a woman he is attracted to, he would keep away from her in fear of rejection. Men are weak. This is really true. Preconceptions will get the best of you if you let them. That is why we need to forgive. Forgive people who you think did you wrong. If anyone here resents someone or holds a grudge against someone, you need to forgive and keep forgiving. Someone may have attacked you, insulted you, embarrassed you, or slandered your name at some point in your life. They may have tormented you, but remembering those forever won't make you happy. That is why it is best to forget about them and remember the good things those same people have done instead. If you find yourself judging, resenting, or being angry at people you see as hurting you, you need to overcome those emotions. Forgiveness is not an abstract concept. It is not just a word. It is not abstract. It is an essential factor to make you happy. If you cannot do this, you will never find happiness in this world. I am sure there will be people in your life who do not behave exactly the way you want them to, and there will be aspects of your past that did not go exactly the way you wanted them to. But through the act of forgiveness, you will be able to let go of these and attain peace. You will find that by forgiving people, you will sleep much better at night, perhaps the best you have ever slept. When you go outside, the air will taste fresher, the sun will feel warmer, and you will understand people's feelings for the first time in your life. Those who hate others are really afraid of them and cannot enjoy such blessings. They only think of themselves. I have talked about this before, but the past is unchangeable. We can, however, change the future. We can only reflect on the past, but we can focus on making a better future for ourselves. Additionally, if we change our present mental attitude, we will see the past in a different light. I have said this before. If you are happy right now, then what that means is every person you have met in your life appeared before you in order to make you happy, including the boss who fired you, or the woman who left you. If you are happy in your life right now, then that is what they were there for. They were subtly giving you advice on how to live as a human being. All those people whom you thought were hurting you were actually making you happy. That is why you must let go of any superficial grudges. If you are happy right now, then everything will go well. Forgiveness has power in this world. One of many types of love, forgiveness is especially strong in religious power. Please think like this. There is Buddha nature in all of you. People are wonderful beings. Therefore, it is important to have wonderful people grow more wonderful. Not only do you have the right to be happy, you also have a duty to be happy. You have a duty to be happy. Others have a duty to be happy too. The people you resent also have a right and a duty to be happy. If each person becomes happy, the world will turn into a utopia. Please affirm the existence of others. There are different perspectives and different ways of living. People have many good qualities. People each have wonderful qualities. Some of the things you see as shortcomings may actually be your excellent character. All people are children of God and Buddha. All of you have potential. You can all change. You all have the right to be happy just as you are, and you can become happy. If you change how you look at things, the world will look different. Just remember that all humans can grow and mature. Through the process of maturing, you can overcome all wrongdoings, hardships, your own sin, sin committed by others, and things that seem to be obstacles. It would give me great pleasure if you would think this over.
The bottom line is that you won't ever become happy by blaming others or your environment. If there is someone that you dislike, we need to be the ones to take the first steps to forgive. Everyone not only has the right to be happy, but has the duty to become happy. Let's accept the existence of others and pray that you and others will become happy. In this way, we can become self-generators of happiness and supply it to the people around us. Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. And join us next week where we will be exploring the topic of building your future, the formula for making dreams come true. See you next time.
I have watched over you for many years, since the moment when you were born. Your first steps, your first bike ride, your first day at school, your graduation, your marriage, your joys, your sorrows. Yet, through time, you have shown that what you continue to hold in your heart grows stronger and brighter as you persevere, believing that the journey is just as important as your destination. I pray every day that you will see the signs life provides you as a guide and discover that you were born to accomplish great things. Remember who you are. Remember what you were born to do. Become a light for the world. Believe. Be inspired again.
The preceding program was sponsored by Happy Science.